The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
It's coming.
All these voices. All these voices.
They're not yours. You had no right to them when you were alive, and you have no right to them when you're dead. That's what it sounded like. Good, so you know who I am. And then you know I'm not playing. You're going to let those women go. In Jesus' name, you're going to let those women go.
Is there a demon here watching us right now? Watching us right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Staring Into the Abyss. I am your host, horror author James Hershey Jr., and with me, as always, my co-host, old boy James Ash. How you doing, brother?
Good evening, everybody, and I hope everyone's having a good night.
All right, this week's episode is going to be a fun one. On this episode, we're going to be looking at some folklore from many different places, actually. And I like this because I always like it when folklore has its roots in multiple cultures, in multiple countries, because that lends a little bit more credibility to it as far as folklore goes. So this one comes from France, from Detroit, and from the Native American lores. It is the tale of Nain Rouge. Pretty cool. Some of you might be saying, what the hell is a Nain Rouge? I never heard of it. Most people haven't. Basically, what Nain Rouge is a tiny little red demon-like creature. There's some speculation whether or not it is actually a member of the Fae, like a little imp or a goblin or hobgoblin or something like that, or whether it is an actual demon. We're not sure. The folklore isn't really specific on it. But as I go along and I tell you this story, I think you'll probably come to the conclusion that it could be the one, because there's characteristics of both. And you'll see what I mean as we go. So the story of Nain Rouge. A lot of people think that it came over with some of the French settlers to the area. And there was this dude, this French explorer, and his last name was Cadillac. He's got like a long, flowing, Frenchy name. But his last name is Cadillac. So we're just going to call him Cadillac from here on because my French sucks. So this dude Cadillac was a French explorer, and he wanted to make his mark in the world. His aspirations, his goal was to be rich and famous. So he ended up founding the city of Detroit. But before that happened, he was trying to rub elbows with the rich and famous, to kind of give himself some credibility. So he went to this fancy party. And at this party, he got pretty liquored up. He was drinking quite a bit. And there was this psychic, this fortune teller that was there. And this lady was pretty damn cool. She looked like what you would think a fortune teller would look like. And she even had this cat that was her pet that would sit on her shoulder, okay, like a parrot would for a pirate. This cat was always just hanging out, chilling on her shoulder, which that's pretty badass in itself. If you can get a cat to listen to you and do anything, that's pretty impressive. But she had this trained cat hanging out on her shoulder, and she was going to tell the fortune of Cadillac. Going to tell him what his future was. And she started off by talking about the past, and he was a little liquored up, so he was kind of being a jerk. And he's like, I don't want to hear about the past. I don't care about the past. The past is in the past. I look for the future. I'm going to be a great man. I'm going to do all this stuff, right? So she starts to tell his fortune. And according to the psychic, he was going to discover a city. And he was going to found it. It was going to be a colony. And it was going to be very, very successful. But because of his bravado, right, his ambition, and the fact that he's just kind of a jerk, let's say that. I almost said something else. He's going to lose it all. And his kids are going to end up penniless, no inheritance, and he's just going to be a footnote in history. Unless he changes his ways. She says that sometime in the future, he was going to trade with the native peoples, and the city of Detroit would become very prosperous, and that he would have a run-in with a little bitty creature, a little red creature called Nain Rouge. So basically, he doesn't take this seriously at all, right? He's kind of just laughing at her, saying, yeah, right, lady. But his wife, who was with him, she took that real serious. His wife believed that stuff. And she told him, she said, hey, man, you better listen to this chick, you know. She's telling you what's going to happen in the future, and you better pay attention to those words and remember them, because you don't want, you know, to end up penniless and disgraced and all that kind of stuff. And he basically is like, yeah, silly woman, it don't matter. You know, this is all BS. And he pretty much told the fortune teller that she was full of crap. So he leaves. He ends up finding and founding the city of Detroit. Becomes a colony, and things are going fairly well. They start trading with the native people, and things are really going good. To the point to where it became a shining example to all of the other colonies of what a city should be. This is how you should do it. Okay, this is the blueprint, because it's being done so well. So he was feeling himself, man. He was happy. He was like, man, I'm the man. Everybody knows who I am. I'm famous. You know, my city is doing awesome. I'm making all kinds of money. This is great. So he takes his wife for a walk one day, and they're kind of just strolling down by the river. And they come across these three people that are just standing there having a conversation. And as they walk up on the people, they can hear what they're saying. And they're talking about Nain Rouge. And they're talking about the fact that there's been a lot of sightings recently of this thing. And he just kind of scoffs at him. And the wife, she's like, oh man, there's Nain Rouge, man. That's what the psychic chick told us. You know, that's what the fortune teller said. And we better pay attention to this chick. Because remember what she said. She said that you were going to found this colony, and you did. And she said that you were going to start trading with the native people, and you have. And she said you were going to have great economic prosperity, and we have. Everything she said has come true. So you better listen to her and respect this thing if you ever see it. And he's just like, shut up. You know what I mean? You're full of crap. So he keeps on walking. So they get a little bit down the path, and out of the bushes, according to the legends, out of the bushes jumps this little red demon creature. It's got like horns and rotting teeth, and it's just god-awful looking. And it's got these black eyes, and it's staring at him. Now, you would expect, as most people would do, in that situation, you know, something like that jumps out of the woods at you, and you're going to start a little bit. Whoa, what the hell is that? You know, you might run away. He didn't do anything. He just stood there and stared at it. And then he says, get out of my way, you little red imp. And bitch slaps this thing with his cane. Whap! Get out of the way, punk. And walks right past him like he's nothing. Nain Rouge just kind of smiled at him and poof, disappeared in a puff of sulfury smelling gross smoke. Wife was pissed. Now, any of you that are married, you can understand when you do something your wife don't like that, especially after she's warned you over and over and over again, like his wife had. She's pissed. You've brought ruin upon our family. You've brought ruin upon our name. Our fortunes are all going to be gone. We're going to die penniless. Our children are going to be left destitute because of you, because you didn't listen. That's what she's telling him. He just blows her off. Come to find out, things start to go pretty bad for old Cadillac. Not too long past that, he ends up getting arrested and taken to court on the charge of selling alcohol to the Native Americans. And he had to pay a bunch of money and do a little bit of time. And he was pretty much disgraced and run out of Detroit. He goes and manages to become governor of Louisiana, which you might think that's pretty cool, man. He became a governor. But at the time, Louisiana was a little crappy colony that was nothing. It was considered like a backwater crap hole, basically. And it was more of an insult than anything else to be the governor of that place. So he becomes governor of Louisiana. Not a very hard job, really, because there's not much there at the time. But he fails at that miserably as well. He ends up leaving the entire country in disgrace and goes back to France, where he dies penniless. His children destitute, no inheritance. And he is a laughingstock, known as a failure. So that's the story of Cadillac. But that's not the end of the story of Nain Rouge. Now this thing has a lot of correlation to another creature that we've talked about on this channel quite a bit, which is the Mothman. Supposedly, whenever you see Nain Rouge, bad things happen. And there's a track record for this. Okay, shortly after old Cadillac had his run-ins and his dealings, there was a big fire that happened in the city of Detroit. And luckily, the people there paid respect. So none of them died. But it burnt almost the whole damn city down. But there was a lot of sightings of Nain Rouge before that happened. In the War of 1812, there was this dude named Hall who was in control of the entire Michigan area. And he had a run-in with Nain Rouge one day. And he actually wrote in his memoirs and everything that he was assaulted and attacked by a little red dwarf creature. That's what he said. So what happened with him was the British were coming to invade. And he kind of had a panic attack, freaked out, and just ended up surrendering the entire place to the British. Now, later on, the Americans got it back and all that, but it was a lot of bloodshed, a lot of lost lives that did need to take place. But it said that was Nain Rouge as well, because he wrote in his memoirs, like I said, his excuse was he was attacked and brutalized by a tiny red dwarf creature. There's also another run-in with with Chief Pontiac, where supposedly Nain Rouge appeared to him. Now he, it is said, paid respect to Nain Rouge. And in return for that, he got the knowledge that the British were getting ready to attack his tribe, his homeland. So he was able to prepare for that attack, and I don't know if the knowledge was given to him on how to repel it properly or if he figured that out on his own. But either way, he completely spoiled their attack, turned it completely against them, and ended up killing a bunch of them. And that is actually known as the Battle of Bloody Run, I believe it's called, because there was so much blood and death that the rivers ran red with blood that day. Now, on the opposing side of that battle, there was a lot of sightings of Nain Rouge in the area. And the British just kind of scoffed it off. They even had people that came up to them and said, hey, man, you might not want to attack right now, because we're seeing this Nain Rouge dude everywhere. And every time we see him, something real bad happens. So I think that's a bad omen. You might want to just chill on your attack for a while. But the British, of course, they didn't know who the hell Nain Rouge was, so they didn't care. They thought it was all superstitious folklore nonsense. So they went on with the attack, and they got their ass handed to them. So then we move forward a little bit, and there is a horrible ice storm that hits Detroit. And before that ice storm happened, there was a lot of sightings of Nain Rouge reported. Before the 1967 riots that took place in Detroit in modern times, there were multiple reported sightings of Nain Rouge before those happened. So you've got a lot of things that have happened where this thing has been sighted beforehand. And the people in the area believe it so much that they actually started having a yearly festival where they go through and they run out and cast out Nain Rouge every year. They have a dude that dresses up like a little red devil, and they chase him out of town, basically. You know, they cast him out. And this began, you know, as a way to pay homage to the legends and the folklore, obviously, but also kind of as a way to try to protect Detroit a little bit, from this thing, because they had been having a lot of things happen to them throughout the years that weren't good. And I guess they figured, let's do this and run them out. Now, did it work or did it not work? There's arguments to be made that maybe it didn't, because look at the way Detroit is now. I mean, Detroit is a crap hole, man. I mean, the houses are selling for like $10, $100. I mean, it's horrible. That place is just devastated. Now, there's other reasons for that as well. It's not just the fact that it may be Nain Rouge that's doing it. I mean, those people keep voting for the same party over and over and over again, and that's that track record. Every single city they control is the same way. Highest crime, highest unemployment, highest everything. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. I'm not trying to get political on this show, but I mean, that's the truth of it. They've been voting for one party for the last 50, 60 years, and that's what you get when you vote for that party, is you get high crime, high unemployment, a lot of slums and ghettos, and a lot of people depending on the government. That's just the truth of it. So is it Nain Rouge? Is it just bad voting? Who knows? But you'll notice one thing in this story, that the guy's name is Cadillac. The Indian chief, his name was Pontiac. So you got a couple different cars that were made in Detroit there, which is kind of cool. That when they decided they were going to start making cars in Detroit, some of those companies chose the names of local history people, which is kind of cool, man. I kind of like that. That's where they got the names from. And also a cool little bit of trivia. If you ever, talking to somebody and you're like, hey, did you hear this? Kind of make you look like you know some stuff. It's always good to know some stuff. But is Nain Rouge real or not? That's the first question. Is Nain Rouge, if he is real, is it a demon? Or is it fae? Is it a fairy type? And when I say fairy and fae, for those that don't know, who haven't been watching the show for years and haven't seen our episodes on fairies and fae folk and all that, the fae is a broad group of different creatures. Okay, when you say fairy, a lot of people that aren't familiar with folklore tend to think Tinkerbell, and that's all they know. It's some little bitty flying fairy things. Yes, that would be one type of a fairy. But there's also all kinds of other types. Everything from gnomes to leprechauns to dwarfs to goblins to hobgoblins. All of those things fall. Trolls, all of it falls under that category of fae. So could it be something like that? Well, the different bits and pieces that I was talking about earlier that kind of correspond with each. What corresponds with demons is having bad luck, having bad things happen to you. Especially if you mock or disrespect the demon. That usually includes financial ruin. It usually includes sickness, physical problems, legs not working, arms not working, fall and break your leg, those kind of things. Car accidents, all kinds of bad luck, trouble in your relationship, all kinds of stuff like that usually correspond with demons. Now, the part that kind of corresponds with the fae is the fact that if you show it respect, you won't have no problem. And it'll even help you in some cases. We see that with the Pukwudgie. We did a great episode on the Pukwudgie a couple years ago. And on that episode, we talked about how it is a wood spirit that protects the forest. And if you show respect to it, and you do not do anything to disrespect the forest, you're not trying to, destroy trees and tear the place down and build a parking lot, then usually you're not going to have an issue. And we actually worked a case with a Pukwudgie, and those people ended up planting apple trees in that area to appease it. And the activity stopped. So that kind of corresponds with the world of fae, is that if you appease them, if you show them respect, then you're a lot less likely to have trouble with most kinds. Now, there's still some, like goblins and stuff, they don't give a damn if you show respect or not. They'll still want to rip your face off. The other part that corresponds with a lot of the different fae is the fact that they are kind of mischievous. They're tricksters. They like to pull pranks. They like to screw around. You know what I mean? And they do that kind of stuff quite a bit. They'll mess with you. You know, there's some types that will come out in the middle of the night. And if you are respectful and nice, then they will actually do housework for you and fix your shoes and all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of cool legends of that. But if you cross them, then they'll destroy your whole world. And that's pretty much true with just about every type, to where if you cross them, you're in big trouble. But if you don't, and you're respectful and you're nice, then you don't have much problem. So what should be the lesson taken from this tale, whether it is real or whether it is not real? I would say if a creepy old gypsy fortune teller type tells you that you need to be nice, especially if she's got a cat bouncing on her shoulder that listens to everything she says, you might want to pay attention. And you might want to take that to heart. I mean, in all reality, you ought to be nice anyway. Because, you know that old saying, you attract more bees with honey than you do with vinegar? It's kind of hard to get people to do stuff for you, and kind of hard to get people to give a damn about you either way if you're not nice to them. You know, I never understood people that go through life angry all the damn time. It makes no sense to me. Why waste your time doing that? It's a choice to be happy. You know, it doesn't matter what horrible things are happening in your life. A lot of people have bad stuff going. You know, I mean, here's a clue to everybody. All of us have problems. Every single one of us has a bunch of crap that we don't talk about. A bunch of stuff going on in our lives that sucks. You know, people have this misconception with the age of social media that all of their friends' lives are fabulous and they're just living in a amazing world where they go out to the club all the time and everything's wonderful and their kids are great, and their husband's great, and this is great, and that is great, and every meal they eat's a gourmet meal, and it's all BS, man. People put out what they want you to see. But every single one of us has got a bunch of crap that goes on that we never put out in public. And if you saw the whole picture, all of a sudden those people that you thought had such a great life and were doing so well, they wouldn't be doing so well anymore, would they? They'd just be ordinary people like you. We all got problems. Everybody's struggling. Everybody's hurting. Everybody's got things they've done that they're ashamed of. Everybody's got dreams that didn't come true. Everybody's got things they've done that they failed at. Everybody's got something about them that when they look in the mirror, they wish they could change. Every single one of us. But it don't matter. Because the truth is, and once you realize this, it's going to change your life. Truth is, nobody cares. I'll say that again. Nobody gives a damn. That little thing that you think is so damn important, that you wish you could change about yourself, that you beat yourself to death about and you hate so much, nobody even notices, man, most of the time. I mean, unless you got like half your head missing or something crazy. Most of these things, and women are especially guilty of this, is y'all got something about you that you don't like and you obsess about and you hate. Oh my God, I wish this was different. I wish I could change this. I'm so ugly because of this. Nobody even notices most of the time, man. Usually the things that you turn into these giant problems are insignificant. They don't matter. They really don't. Now, a lot of people have a lot of issues with self-image. A lot of people have a lot of issues with trying to, just struggling, just trying to make it, you know? They see this person got a new vehicle or this person just got a new house or whatever. And they, man, why can't I do that? Why am I still in the same place I've been in for so long? You know? Why am I still driving this vehicle that's been down the road quite a many times? Why can't I have a new car? Or I just saw Sally over there went on vacation, man. Look at her on the beach. Her little bitty bikini, and it's so pretty, and all the beautiful sun and they got the drinks with the umbrellas and the whole nine. I don't get to do that. Why can't I do that? What's wrong with me that I can't do that? Well, the truth of it, ain't nothing wrong with you. Sally went to the beach and got the little frilly umbrella drink and all that stuff. And you know what she did? She probably spent a whole bunch of money that she didn't have to do it. Ran it up on the credit cards, and she'd be paying that crap off for the next 10 years. And then she's wondering why her kids don't get to go to college. That's because your ass is on the beach instead of doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is making sure your kids' lives are better than yours. The one that just got the new car that didn't need it, same thing. They got another payment they got to make. I literally know people that work 3 separate jobs just to afford to do stuff like that. They run up the bills all crazy high to where they're barely treading water. And they got to work 3 jobs to pay for it, just to make the payments on all that stuff. When the hell do you have time to enjoy it? What's the point of it, man? When you die and you leave this world, ain't none of that coming with you. It's all going to be right here. Somebody else going to be enjoying it, not you. And if you take any lesson from when we were all kids and we used to get, I don't know about y'all, but when I was a kid, we had a lot of presents. Now, I was not a wealthy person. Okay, I grew up poor. We didn't have nothing in the beginning. And every year, Mom would start a Christmas club at the bank, and she'd put money in that son of a gun every dang week. And then at the end of the year, she'd have a mess of money built up, and she'd go hog wild and buy us a bunch of presents. And never fails, every single year, half of them would end up broke because, one, it's just way too much stuff. You know, we can't concentrate on that much stuff at once. So you're going to have a couple things that you really treasure and take care of, and the rest of it is just kind of end up in the toy box getting broken up. But that's what happens to a lot of these people. They see something, I got to have it, I got to have it, I got to have it because this person has it, and I don't have it, and I need it, and why do they have it, and I don't have it? What's wrong with me? So they buy it with money they don't have. And then they get it, and they still don't feel fulfilled because it's just stuff. Then they throw it down. I don't want that anymore. Ooh, look at that. I got to have that. I got to have that. Cycle repeats. They're trying to fill a hole in themselves with stuff. Stuff don't fill holes. Stuff kind of makes holes, if you think about it. Because once you get the stuff that you thought was going to fill the hole and it doesn't, then you feel depressed that it didn't. And you need more stuff because you think that's the answer, but it's not. You got to find the things that actually fulfill you in life. And for everybody, it's different. You know? A lot of people find it in God. They find it in helping other people. Some people find it in like gardening or art or whatever it is your thing, man. Whatever thing makes you happy. Whatever thing makes your soul sing. That's what'll fill that hole. Not a new car. Not the newest phone, the newest gadget. None of that stuff, man. It doesn't mean nothing. So I would say, we're only here a short time. Even if you live 100 years, in the grand scheme of things, when you think of the fact that we are eternal, that little tiny bit of time you're here, that quick, means nothing. So how does it make any sense to destroy your life and be so upset and freaked out and just going nuts because you got to have all this stuff for that amount of time? When you leave, it don't come with you. So for the rest of eternity, you don't have that stuff. So you wasted the short time that you were here, that you could have enjoyed your life and been happy. But instead, you're not happy because you don't have everything you want. And you're never going to. That's the answer. That's the truth. You're never going to. The pursuit of stuff just leads to more stuff. Because once you get it, ooh, there's something new out. There's something better. I got to get that now. Or, oh, I just saw on Facebook this person has this, and I want that too. I want to be cool. I want to be having the latest stuff, so I got to go get that now. Oh, what? How much is it? Oh my God, that's expensive. Well, I guess we'll just take it out of savings, and I'll get it that way. Or let's not put anything into little Billy's college fund for the next couple months, so that we can get this crap that we don't need. That's what's happening, man. It's sad. It's real sad. So, anyway, I don't even remember how the hell I got on that subject, but I got there somehow. I'm sure y'all can tell me in the comments how I got there, because y'all are watching all of this, and I'm doing it live, so I have no idea what I was talking about before I started talking about that. Because I'm getting old, and my memory ain't what it used to be. Nain Rouge. That's the subject. That's what we're talking about this week. Do I believe that Nain Rouge is real? Or do I believe that it's just a bunch of folklore? Well, I know that there's some folklore that's real. You know, the legends of Bigfoot. There's legends in a lot of different native tribes and a lot of different countries of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti. There's all kinds of names, Yowie. There's tons of names for it. But it's all the same creature. I've seen them myself, so I know that they exist. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I've seen it with my own eyes. So that folklore is real. There was folklore of the silverback gorilla in the Congo before we discovered it. And it was always looked at as just folklore. It didn't really exist. And then we actually found it. And we said, oh, wait, there it is. So now it's not folklore anymore. It's there. You can go look at it. That folklore was true. Is every folklore true? Probably not, to be honest with you. I mean, that's just the truth. Not everyone's going to be true. But in this one, you got the French, you got the British, you've got the Americans, and you've got the Native Americans. That's 5. 5 different places, 5 different cultures, 5 different groups of people that have legends of this. So I would say something's real. Something's real about it. Is it exactly what they say it is? Probably not. It never is. It's an exaggeration, most likely, but there's something that's the root of that. There's some sort of creature that shows up before tragedy. Just like the Mothman. Isn't it weird how now we got 2 of these? We got the Mothman and we got Nain Rouge. 2 different kinds of things that kind of show up before tragedy happens. The difference in Nain Rouge is that it appears, according to the folklore, that you kind of got a choice. He shows up before tragedy happens. But in every example, it looks like you actually have an opportunity when he shows up. You can either be respectful and nice, in which case you come out on the good side of that tragedy, or you can act like a jerk like old Cadillac did and bitch slap him with your cane and tell him to get the hell out the way. In which case, you're ruined. It seems every single time he showed up, there was a warning that something bad was about to happen. And depending on how the person or people acted, determined what the outcome was going to be. Whether it was going to be good or bad. And in modern times, you might even be able to make the case that because every year they do a whole festival kicking Nain Rouge out of Detroit, that's pretty damn disrespectful. And you could make the case, I'm not saying I believe it, but you could make the case that disrespect on a yearly annual basis is why Detroit is in the ruins that it is. You could make that case. You could also make that case that it's very bad management by a political party that don't give a damn about the people. You could absolutely make that case as well. Both cases have some evidence backing them up. Both cases are subjective. They depend on what you believe. Something's going on. Something's going on if you got 5 different cultures saying this. That's all I'm saying. Let me know down in the comments section what you guys think. Do you believe that Nain Rouge is real? Or do you believe that it is just folklore? And why do you think Detroit is the mess that it is? Let me know. If you liked the video, please like it on Facebook, or like it on YouTube, and like it on Twitter, and wherever else we end up putting it. And I appreciate y'all coming along for the ride. So I'm going to throw over to Old Boy now and get his opinion of what he thinks of Nain Rouge, and just basically whatever he wants to say about it. And I'm interested to see. So, Old Boy, go ahead, brother.
And thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the Nain Rouge. The Detroit, I think it's the Red Demon of Detroit. Has a bunch of other names. What my opinion is, and I'll tell you what I think, because I guess this thing, it's kind of like the Mothman. It comes out and curses Detroit, and the origins are from Quebec in Canada, and then even up to France and in Great Britain, the Nain Rouge. It's supposed to be like a little red 2.5 to 3 foot ish, kind of like demon, like imp, kind of like that, a limp, and it's supposed to have like nasty teeth with red eyes, glowing eyes, and he wears red or black shoes, and he's got like a reddish body, and supposedly Anton Lamont Cadillac, 1701 in Quebec, came to Detroit, and I guess at the time owned land here, and one night with his family and everything, he met a weird fortune teller. It was at his house, at the house at the time, and told him to be careful about the Nain Rouge. And, you know, he blew it off, whatever. Well, I guess later, that couple years later, he ran in, or that night or something, he saw it and he smacked it away with his cane, and he was cursed. He ended up going to jail for, I guess, I forget what he went to jail for. It was for, I guess, overstepping his boundaries. The lady said he would never be able to leave his kids any kind of money. They'll be broke. And that ended up happening. He couldn't leave. They left him penniless and broke, like she said, because he didn't respect the Nain Rouge. If I'm saying it right, I'm trying to not butcher it, guys. I guess in the 1800s, there was a war with Britain and Detroit. I think it was the Bloodstained River or something war or something. The Blood Run River war or something. I'm probably ruining the name, but I guess the thing came and they ended up getting killed in so many different horrible ways, and the river got turned red. That's why it became red. I'm thinking I'm probably saying it wrong. Then in 1863, there was a bad fire that happened and almost burnt Detroit up. And it was seen before that. And 1963, the riots in 1967, the riots in Detroit happened, and it was seen before that too. And I heard it was seen in 1979. I don't know what happened then. I didn't really hear too much about it, but apparently Detroit started losing a lot of money after that, and look at it now. So is it cursed? Is it some kind of demon? Is it some kind of Mothman thing going on? It just likes to cause havoc wherever it goes. Is it just another folklore? So I don't know, man. I think this is another story, but I don't want to say it's not true or it isn't. The Nain Rouge in Detroit, every year they do like a festival where they pretty much run them out. It's kind of like a festival to run them out every year, and they dress up like that Nain Rouge and they pretend they're chasing him out of the city, And that's pretty cool. They believe that. It's kind of like the Krampus, but it's all tale stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't exist or my opinions is on it. It could be true. I don't know. It's kind of a folk story. I'm kind of surprised. I've never heard of this one, so it's not that big of a story I've ever heard till like recently, since James sent it to me and we started, studying it and seeing what it was about and investigating it. And I don't know, man. I'm kind of torn on this. Little red imp. It's 2 to 3 feet tall. And some say it's the red troll. That's another nickname it's got. I don't know. There's the pugwudgie. There's leprechauns. There's fairies. There's a possibility. They said it may not even be French. It may be it has Native American traits to it, so it could have history to it. So it could be that. It's kind of funny. Detroit's been in a lot of heartache for years. The city's gone really downhill. And some parts of Detroit, some of the worst places in the country and the world. It's very violent. A lot of crime goes on. A lot of killings and murders. A lot of gangs. The city's pretty much like you could buy a house for $10 there. I saw it on TV. It's pretty crazy. Like 8 Mile and stuff like that. It's a pretty rough place. Detroit ain't no joke. Like South Chicago and stuff like that. I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there. So I'm not going to say it's impossible. I have my opinions on it. I don't think it's hard to believe it. But, I'm not here to argue and say it doesn't exist. It's not impossible. It could be a story that they told people in the 1800s, so the 1700s it started. But even then they said it was before that. But they probably was a story that might have some truth to it, and it's blown up from now. Or maybe it was a demon portraying to be a troll. Or maybe it was. Maybe it was a version of the Native American leprechaun where it tells you something, and if you don't respect it, you pay the price. And supposedly that lady was weird looking, had weird looking eyes, was a weird shape and size, they said. I don't know if it was tall or small, but she warned Cadillac about this the night, or the future was going to happen if he didn't respect the Nain Rouge. Sorry, the Nain Rouge. Sorry, it's hard to say the name. The Nain Rouge. And he didn't. And he smacked it away with his cane, and look what happened. Supposedly he got cursed, and his family got screwed and didn't end up having any kind of money, any kind of anything for it. So it could be another. People hated the French at that time because they invaded, were here at that time, and so was the British. They didn't like this guy Cadillac. He was to what I read, he went to jail for, like I said, either I think he was overstepping his authority or something like that. So that he's probably overdoing it, and then I guess getting himself out of jail and stuff like that. He spent his whole fortune, and he ended up dying broke, and his kids got nothing. Like she told him that was going to happen. They were going to end up penniless and have no money, and that's what happened, guys. Ended up happening. Now, do I believe this thing exists? I don't know, guys. I have to run into one. No, I'm just kidding. Possibility. I mean, I think it's a folks tale. It's a folks tale, and I think it's a pretty good one. I've never heard of this one before. This one is a new one for me. I kind of enjoy it. Something new to talk about, not the same old stuff we talk about. This is kind of something new. Folks tell lore, and I don't know. I still have my opinions on it. Could be true, could not be. You never know. And I don't know. Maybe it is real. Maybe it's just another story. And it was Bloody Run, the Battle of Bloody Run Creek, I think it is. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the name right. I'm messing it up probably, but I know the war. What happened was the British were trying to attack this guy Pontiac, and he got wind of it, and they think it's the Nain Rouge got a sighting, so somebody told him, or they think this might have told him, and he killed 60 of their soldiers, and they bled in this creek, and that's why it was called the Battle of Bloody Run, and because it was like really bad. So I wanted to talk about the name. Do I think it's real, or is there a possibility there's a little imp-ish kind of demonish red creature with red eyes? It's just, I don't know. You know what, dude? Like I said, this is a weird one. Folklore is kind of always going to have some truth to it and some exaggerations. We know that over time to scare people and to scare armies, because the British were here and the French were too at that time in the 1800s, and all the way up to, they're gone now because we went to war. But Detroit has a lot of bad history and a lot of things going on now. So I don't know. There's a possibility. Do I believe that Detroit's cursed and this is why? I don't know. I mean, we did a lot of bad things, our ancestors back then, and the Indians, we screwed a lot of them. Sorry, that's just the truth. I'm not trying to get any other than that, but we might have been cursed. Detroit itself might be cursed. Cleveland, a lot of other these places have a lot of bad history and a lot of crazy things happening if you think about it. And supposedly this has traits leading back past the Native American history. This could have ties with them. Is this something that got back for what some of these settlers did to the Indians at that time, or the British did to the Indians at that time? And it just, it was warned and you didn't listen. It cursed this guy Cadillac, and now it cursed all Detroit. I don't know. I'm not going to say yes or no. I have my opinions. I'm not going to say it's impossible. I mean, I never say anything's impossible. I think this is about 80% chance this isn't true, but there's always that 20%, 15% I'll give it. I'll give this one 2015. That's what I'll give you guys. What you guys think. Tell us what you think in the comments. We always try to do stuff new. This is a new one for me. Like, it kind of, like I said, I don't know too much about the Nain Rouge. The Nain Rouge. That's how they say it. Like a little impish red-eyed, black red boots. I think it has like black clothing or black fur. It says like a dark black fur. It's kind of an ugly yellow looking teeth. Imp. Goblin, hobgoblin, some people call it the red hobgoblin. Detroit every year, like I was saying earlier, has a festival for this thing, kind of like the Krampus. So somebody believed it at one time, especially in that area. But I mean, there's all kinds of things like Mothman, and then Skinwalkers, and now the Pudgewudgie. We did a show years ago about that, and my opinion is, though, again, is I don't know if I believe this one, guys. I think it's just another folklore, but it's a cool story, cool looking. Go look it up. It's everywhere on YouTube. There's all kinds of stories about it. It's just another one of those little devils that come out of nowhere and curse you if you don't do what they want, or you ask them for a wish and it backfires on you, kind of like the leprechaun thing. It's another story. Another folklore that it could be false, but now like some of Detroit believes it, like it cursed Detroit. So look at all the stuff that happens in Detroit, guys. Like I said, go look it up for yourself, see what you guys think. Again, this one's a newer one for me. Like, I don't really do a lot of folklore. We haven't done it for a while, and it's cool we doing it, because we usually do about ghosts or conspiracies or aliens lately and some monsters, but now it's cool. It's folklore again, and I'm actually enjoying this one because I haven't done folklore for a while. I'm kind of glad we're changing it up a little bit now. And now, we do a lot of paranormal stuff. You know that, guys. And, we're trying to give you the best results. And we won't lie. That's one thing. We try to find out the facts and the truth. Sometimes I sound like you guys got to realize I have a speech issues I've had throughout my life, and I've learned to really work on it. I have learning disability. I did, and I really had to work on it. And I went past it. And I'm not using that for any kind of excuse because I could care less. I actually have a decent life. I'm not living in the street. I actually went above it and didn't listen to what people told me. And sometimes I'll say things that are not right on. So I hope you guys understand that. I know most of you guys know me. But my personal opinion on this one, it's just probably some folk story that the guy probably got, broke and he wanted to blame something and went to jail and he blamed it on, people. Oh, it must have been a demon or it must have been some kind of little monster. He cursed me because I didn't listen to him. Some people lie a lot. You got to remember that. People will say things to get themselves out of trouble. They'll blame it on ghosts, demons, monsters. And then we get a big story. But now there's like different sightings all the way to like 1979. And people are saying it's real. I don't know if it is. I don't really care. I do care. I don't want to say I don't care. I just don't believe it. I just think it's another folklore. It's an interesting story, though. I mean, Cadillac got what he deserved. He didn't listen to the lady, and she told him. Like a lot of people don't listen, just like the British didn't pay attention. They were told about this thing, and they got beat. The fires, the riots in '67 in Detroit, and I guess somebody saw him in '79 on top of a pole, and some kind of something happened that Detroit started losing a lot of money. I've read a bunch of stories about it. I don't mean it's true, but I'm just saying that's some of the lore I've read about it. You never know. It could be true and it could not. It's a cool story, though. Check it out. Go look at the little thing. The Nain Rouge. It looks like a little hobgoblin, little demon, but he's only like 2.5, 3 feet tall, if that. And he's a little weird looking, but it's really cool. I like it. But you know how I am. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. Leave your messages and tell us everything what you think and tell us how you like the show. There you go, James. That's my opinion. There you go, brother. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. It was really good. Another interesting tale from staring into the abyss. If you guys like listening to us on Parax Radio, check us out Sunday nights at 9 Pacific, 12 Eastern. And Monday nights, the best of 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Sorry, guys. You guys want merchandise? James will tell you where to go, what to get. You guys like our show? Leave comments. We love to hear from you guys. Tell us what you think of the shows. Tell us ideas. Please, no arguing. Always go to James Hershey's YouTube page and subscribe and listen to all our old shows. All the new ones, old ones you like. Everything's there. All kinds of good stuff there for you guys. So we love you, Misfits, Sugar Ladies, Monster Lovers, Demon Hunters. I love you and blessed be. And just remember, spring's coming in a week and a half. So actually a week. Sorry. So we love you guys and blessed be.
Thank you, brother. I want to thank everybody for hanging out and for watching the video and listening on the radio and just going along with us on this really fun and cool adventure that we do every week. We've been doing this for quite a many years. I've been studying this stuff since I was a little kid, man. When everybody else was going out and playing in the yard and doing all that kind of stuff, I was sitting my little nerdy butt in the library reading books about folklore and mythologies and legends. And I love this stuff. Love it. Studied it my entire life. Everybody knows who watches the channel what I do for a living. Everybody knows the work that we do with the church to try to battle demons and to save family. Everybody knows all that stuff. So this has been a lifelong endeavor for me. And it probably will continue until I die. Hopefully, many, many moons from now and of natural causes. That'll be a wonderful thing. Hopefully in my sleep. I think that's the way to go. If you got to choose a way, I think peacefully in your sleep is the way to go. I can't think of any other way I'd really want to go that would be better. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ways that are way worse. But I think that would be a pretty good one to do. A lot of people say they want to go when making love to someone they care about, but I don't think that'd be a good way to go at all. I mean, think about that. For you, maybe it's cool. You know? For you, maybe best way possible. But think about the person you're with. That's got to be terrible for them. That's scar them for the rest of their life. But anyway, get the hell off that. What are you talking about? Hope you guys enjoyed the show. If you did, let us know down in the comments what you think. And as always, thank you for hanging with us. Shameless plugs. The link to the merchandise store is in the description box of every single YouTube video. So if you enjoy the show and you want some merch, or you want to support the show that way, just go to YouTube, youtube.com/James Hershey Jr. Check out the show, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, hit the bell, do all that kind of stuff you're supposed to do. And then go down to the description box, and that is where the merchandise store is. There's a ton of different stuff in that store, man. There's shirts, hoodies, cups, blankets, posters, all kinds of stuff. Tons of different designs. There's all kinds of cool horror designs. There's a bunch of different designs with the Staring logo. There's all kinds of stuff in there. So if you want to pick up some merch and you want to support the show that way, that's where you can find it. Appreciate you guys, man. I really do. Please check us out on ParaX Radio if you don't listen there. If you instead watch on YouTube. We also are on ParaX Radio. We do the show every Sunday night at midnight, and then the replays, I think, is like Tuesday night at 8 is the best of show, I think, where they just do kind of a best of, pick an episode from the past that we've done and put it up there. I mean, we've been doing this for 7 or 8 years now, so we got hundreds and hundreds of shows, man, lots and lots of shows. So if there's anything you guys want to see, any episodes we have not done, any subject matter that you would like us to cover, let us know down there in the comment section of YouTube, and we will try to work up a show for you. Appreciate you. Love you. I'll catch you on the next one. Till we speak to you again. Love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do we. Bye-bye.